Hi, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems, and in this video, we're going to take a deeper look at Sidekick 365 CRM, and specifically, we're going to look at the SharePoint app that's associated with the solution. Recall that the solution has a number of components. At the heart is the SharePoint app, and that's what we're looking at here. We also have Power BI template that has a bunch of reports in it, and we also have a Power App, and the Power App has a mobile version of the same app. And then, of course, we have add-ins to Outlook, Excel, Word, PowerPoint that lets you store important files directly into an account, an opportunity, or a project. And then finally, we have flows that are used to integrate data into the system and go back and forth between different systems. But in this video, we're going to dive into the SharePoint app, which is the heart of the solution. So here we are at the home page, and you'll probably figure out that the home page is going to show you things that are relevant to you. In this case, it's going to be tasks, opportunities, and accounts. And on the left side are the main modules. You can also create a new item using the drop-down, and you can create a new account, opportunity, task, etc. here. Let's go ahead and look at accounts. When I select the account module, I get a list of all of the accounts stored in SharePoint. And I'm going to open up ABC Lock and Key. Now, ABC Lock and Key has a number of items related to that account. There are opportunities, tasks, notes, documents, contacts, and projects. And to navigate to those, you just select the link at the top. So let's look at documents for the starter. Now, one thing you'll notice here is that there are a couple of folders. And so what you'll see is that we have folders for each opportunity underneath this account. So recall that an opportunity always has to be associated with an account. And in this case, I could see any documents related to an opportunity associated with that account. Or these ones outside of the folders are directly related to this account. Okay, and just click to open them up. Let's go back now to the account. And let's look at a few things here. I want to go into a little detail here of what's going on. So what you'll notice is right now I can see these different items across the top. But if I select Edit, what you're going to see is those items go away. And I see just the information about the account on the screen. And I can also add in a note. But the idea is this is the main information about this account. And that once I save this information, whatever it is I want to put in, so I'll just say I edited this and I save it. Once I hit the save, those tabs will show up again, and I can then navigate between the elements associated with this account. So first thing is, this is a parent. Think of that. These are children. When you edit a parent, you won't be able to edit the children at the same time because there might be information that you want to trickle down to the child items. Makes sense, right? In our system, we have three big parents. One is an account, one is an opportunity, and one is a project. These all have multiple items associated with them. The rest of these are going to be child lists, a spread, notes, documents, categories, etc. These are all going to be related to an account, an opportunity, or a project. Okay? Now there's some interesting things I want to show you about setting up behind the scenes. Once you initially get the system, it's going to be fairly blank. You don't have any data into it. But what I want to show you is these are just SharePoint lists. So if I click on the little check mark and hit List, I'm going to do Modify View, and there's a little trick here. Now, I want to warn you, if you break it, you bought it, right? So don't do this without talking to us. But I do want to show you a few tricks behind the scenes. What you'll see is that in the account list settings, if you know SharePoint at all, you can see that there's a type. That's a choice, right? I can also look at some other choices here. Let's see if there's any others in here. Here's territory as well. Let's open up territory. So if I wanted to modify what comes out of the box, I can just type that here. I could also say medium. And maybe I want to set up my own categories for territories. They could be based on a geography. They could be based on an SIC code. They could be based on anything you could imagine, right? Let's just say OK. And I'll go back into my Sidekick CRM. So to do that, I just click here. And when I do that, I'm going to now go to create a new account. And when I pick the territory, see, now I have medium business. So most of these are going to be drop downs. Sometimes, though, they're going to be a lookup. So a lookup might be a parent, right? It's going to look up to other accounts in the system. Or it might be a contact or things like that. You can always tell, though, in the app when you go into the settings behind the scenes. And to get there, you just do Modify View, Settings. And on the lookups, you don't change the values there. If it's a lookup, let's find one. So you can see the contact is a lookup, the profile is a lookup. And what that means is that it's looking into the contact list to get values. So if you want to change what's displayed there, you would add a new contact or add an additional profile. So I hope that makes sense. So if you have choices, you can change them here. And there aren't a whole lot of them, but there's a few. Here's territory, and this one we also have account type. So if I click on that, I could say Dave. And I'll say OK. So now when I go in again to my accounts, I'll create a new one. And when I go into the type, I can see Dave listed there. Okay? So let's look at this again now. I wanted to understand lookups though. So a lookup in this case, you're going to see I have a filter here, and you'll see this in a couple places in the system. When I do this, if I just select right now, it's blank. See that? But the idea here is we might have thousands of accounts in the system. It's very, very likely we will once it starts to grow. And rather than having to scroll through a list of thousands of items, let's type in something that starts with, let's just say Y, and say apply. And what happens now is these are going to be all of the accounts that start with Y. I could pick one of those as the parent. Let's pick a different one. Let's do G. And I have to hit apply. And when I do that, you see, I have all my different G accounts as well. So if you ever see a filter, make sure that you put in something here and hit apply, and then it will then filter what's displayed over here in this lookup drop down. Hope that makes sense. Another little trick here is, let's just try this. 1, 2, 3, test driveway. And we'll just do city is San Fran. We'll do California, and that's enough for us. If I do this, it'll copy whatever's up here into these, so it'll save me typing. And if I wanted to just not have the same, I can just override it and put in whatever, red drive. That's fine. But to help you save time, we have a little tricks like this. If you see these, that's what they're all about here. Now another thing you can do is the same way here on a contact, I could say I want to find anybody that starts with Z. And I've got a couple. And if I click here, I'll see all the information about Zachary. But if I wanted to make a brand new guy, let's say that we didn't have this person in the system, it's the first time, right, that I've done this. Let's go ahead and make a new contact. So I can just hit the new button, and I can say Greg Hines. And I don't have to fill anything else out except that because it's got the red star. The rest is optional. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, if I'd already had saved this account and I'm adding a contact under the contact tab, allows it to be filled out for me. You see it picked up the address and it picked up as much as it could, but we haven't saved this account yet, so it didn't pick up any information about the actual anything up there above. We don't have anything in the business phone and the mobile, that phone stuff yet. If we did, it would fill it out for me. I'll just say a good guy. So the more you fill out before you do this in the account, the better off you're going to be. But let's just go ahead and say save. So it takes a minute, and if I click here, I can see that I have my Greg Hines information. And if I go over to contacts, I'll also find Greg listed over there. Okay, so it adds this guy into my contact list as well at the same time. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel. I don't really care about this that much. Now it works the same way in opportunities and projects, very similar, right? Let's go ahead and make a new opportunity. There's a couple little tricks here I wanted to show you. So when you make a new opportunity, remember that you're always going to have an account, an expected close, and a name, and also a salesperson, anything with a red star. So I'll put in 100, whatever, red-tailed hawks. And then on the outcome, that doesn't make sense yet because it's not closed, so there's nothing to pick there. Now, when I pick my status, this is one of the ones that you can set up so that it has different values in it, and that's your sales stages. This is a lookup, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So let's look at evaluating, and you notice here it's got 40. When I put the amount in here, 5,000, you're going to see that it's going to multiply 5,000 times 40 to give me 2,000, and that's a weighted value. And then on the account, I want to make sure to assign an account. Right now it's blank. Do you see that? So I want to go ahead and filter this. I'll just say, I don't know if I've got any Z's. Let's see if there are any. No Z accounts, but let's do G. I know there's a few of those. So we'll do George S. Olive Company. And then this is another little trick. If there's a contact that's been associated as the main contact in that company, and I say apply, what it'll do, in this case there's not one, but let's change it to ABC. We'll just do A. And we'll pick ABC. And now if I click company and apply, you'll see in my drop down that it's got a couple of people that are associated with that account. So that's a way to quickly filter out based on a company name. You could also type in just the letter Z, and you'll see anybody in here that starts with the letter Z. It's not associated with the company necessarily, right? It's just the letter. So that's a nice little trick we built into here for you, is that if you wanted to pick people just from that company, just pick that, hit apply, and the people that are associated with that company are going to be listed here. And if I click, I can see all the information about them. And then the last thing is expect to close. Now a little trick here is there's some buttons here behind the scenes. Just click, and that's how you move through the months. You don't really see them. It's kind of an old bug in SharePoint, but it's okay. If once you know it, you'll never get stuck. Just know that these are active and work, and just pick a day. That's all you've got to do. A category now is going to be on one of these choice lists, and I'll show you that. It can be a product, a service, product and services, etc. And then a campaign is going to be looking up from this list of campaigns over here. Profile is the same. It's going to pick it up from the profile list. And you can add in comments, etc. But I'm going to cancel that. I want to show you the category, how you set that up. Because I think a lot of you will be wanting to use this to do reporting and things like that. So I'm going to go to opportunities. I'm going to select just the little check mark here to get the tabs to light up. Go to list, modify view, and click on the word settings. Right there. And if I scroll down, I'm looking for a choice field. There's my status. Let's look at that for starters. So you can see I've got different status fields here. So whenever you add a new sales status in the list, make sure to add it here. So it picks that up for you, but we don't care about that one right now. Let's keep looking. We're going to look for category. And in category, I could add in any type of category I could think of. So maybe you track your sales differently. Maybe you have different categories set up. Go ahead and add them in here. And when you create opportunities, just assign the category. And then you're going to be able to make reports and filter views and track things based on the category of that opportunity. So this is a pretty handy, powerful field. And you can watch this video over and over again to pick up these points, but I wanted to show you a bunch of tricks here about this setting things up in the app. And also really just give you a sense of how rich this app really is. And then let's take a look at projects as well. That's another sort of the last of the big three. And when I go in there, it's the same idea over and over again, right? Where we're going to be able to modify items that we pick up in choice lists, or we can modify things over here. But again, we've got a lot of possibilities here. We've got documents, people, notes, tasks with a project. And a project is so interesting because you can make it a standalone where it's just something you're working on, or it could be a project that you associate with an account. So if I go to accounts and I go to ABC Lock and Key, let's see what's underneath projects. We'll take a look. So there's one project called Booth with ABC Spring Fling here. Okay, so but let's go look at opportunities because I know that that Wilson High project is associated with that Wilson High opportunity. So let's look at that guy. So when I come into my opportunity and I hit projects, I'm going to see that Wilson High locker restoration project that I also saw over here under projects. So here's the idea, just to recap. You can have a project that's just standalone. It doesn't associate with an account or an opportunity. It's just here's a fall marketing campaign. That makes sense. It's not associated with a particular account or opportunity. Here is a project where we're actually associating it with an opportunity. Maybe we close the deal and we want to track it. Here's one where we're working in the booth with this account, right? It's not a specific opportunity. So these projects are very powerful. And when you say new project, it's very simple to specify this. All you do is you can give it a parent. And again, there's our filter. If I do A, and there's my ABC lock and key. Or I could do opportunity. And if I do the drop down, it's only going to show, let's try that again. Let's do the ABC lock and key. And it's only going to show me the opportunities associated with that account. Do you see? So I could say maybe it's this 10 hours consulting, whatever. And then fill out the information. As soon as I hit save, then I can start adding in all the other information about it. And don't forget to use your apply over here. Now the hot is actually kind of cool as well because the hot lets you sort of put a quick tag on things. You'll notice this throughout the system. And if you click hot, that shows up a lot over here in Power Apps. These have had the hot button picked. So that's a hot task. If I look at accounts, I can see if there's any hot accounts, and I can actually filter just by going like that. It'll show me anything that's hot over here in the Power App, right? So I think that's enough for this particular video. We'll go into more detail, but I wanted to kind of ease into the detail behind the SharePoint app. It's got a lot of depth, and you can customize all this. All of these screens are HTML and JavaScript, so you're not really locked in. We have a tool to help you customize these. But we would suggest before you do that, give us a call, and we can help you work that out. So if you would dive into the demo, we've got a test drive there. You can email us at info@skylightsystems.com, and you can see our spelling here, SKYLITE, and then systems.com, all one word. And just mouse around and try different things out. In the demo, please don't change things as far as the choices and things like that. If you want to do it in a sample test drive in your environment, go ahead. But we use that demo for everybody, so be respectful, please. And we have many more videos for you to take a look at as you dive into the product and see how it works. We have customers all over the world who love it, and we think you will too. So thanks very much for your time today, and hope you enjoyed the video.